Com caught up with Chanaka, the former captain of the Colombo Rowing Club, and we are here at the 72nd Madras Colombo Regatta, and we want to know his thoughts on this event. And I would like to start off with, if you would give a brief introduction of the regatta.
Okay, the Madras Colombo is probably the oldest inter-institutional regatta in the world. And when I say inter-institutional, I'm talking of between two clubs. The boat race between Oxford and Cambridge is probably older. But as far as records show, it seems like the Madras Colombo boat race is actually the oldest inter-institutional boat race. Now, obviously this was started by our erstwhile colonial masters, and since then it has continued intermittently, and there was a bit of a break and a lull during particularly our conflict years here in Sri Lanka. But it was resurrected in the 70s, and since then has continued intermittently. And today is the 75th annual Madras Colombo boat race.
What would you say about the relationship between the two clubs, Colombo Rowing Club?
Oh my gosh, as you can imagine, it dates back to the 1800s, and that the relationship in the more recent past has grown from strength to strength, because not only do we meet and compete against each other in the form of the Madras Colombo, but a lot of other regional regattas. Colombo and Madras participate as competitors. So we have a series of other regattas in the subcontinent that we also take part.
Would you like to mention those regattas as well?
Well, we have the Far East Amateur Rowing Association regatta, that's called the FIARA, which is now today predominantly a masters event. Then we have the ARAE, Amateur Rowing Association of the East Regatta. That's typically held, again, it's held once a year, but moves from city to city in the region, from Calcutta to Pune to Chennai, Colombo, and I think this year it's going to be hosted in Chennai.
What do you see as the future of rowing and future of this event?
Well, I think club events are hard to sustain, in that it's hard to sustain rowing at a club level because people at that age group have so many other commitments, and as you know, this is an amateur sport, it's not a professional sport, so it's a challenge. And but I think it will continue. I mean, all the clubs in the region, in fact Calcutta, as I mentioned, is actually the oldest club in the region. All the clubs have very deep and meaningful histories and heritage, so I have no doubt that the memberships of the respective clubs will ensure that these events continue and will strive to maintain rowing at the club level. So I think it will sustain, but it's difficult to grow it to anything more than what it is.
Compared to cricket and rugby, why do you think this Colombo Madras being one of the oldest events in the country, why do you think there's a low enthusiasm among spectators?
Because as you can see, it's not a spectator sport. It's very difficult to get a group of spectators to sit on a 1 kilometer course and visualize the whole race. So it's so as a result, rowing world over has actually not grown into becoming a spectator sport. And but its foundation are the people who actually row and sustain it, and there's a very passionate following in that sense.
What would you say in Sri Lanka, schools that are more involved in it, or how do you see competition?
The bedrock of rowing in Sri Lanka today, and arguably the last couple of decades, has been the schools. They create they create the raw material for rowing at a more senior level. In the more recent times, the forces have got involved in the sport, particularly the Air Force and the Navy, and in time to come they might become a more formidable component of rowing in Sri Lanka, as has happened in India, for example. It's the forces that actually carry the rowing as a national sport at an international level. It is the forces, but in Sri Lanka still it is predominantly the schools that take part in the sport.
How do you see the growth of the sport now? This year's Sri Lanka National Championship is held in Bollywood. How do you see that? where rowing will be moving out of the Colombo Rowing Club for the first time?
I think it's a great move. To some extent, the watershed event, because hopefully we'll be rowing on a 2,000 meter course, which is the international standard. As you know, here we have a straight stretch of 1,000 meters and a mile with a slight kink in it. So I think it's a huge step in the right direction of taking rowing to another level, and getting our youngsters and schoolboys and schoolgirls involved and used to a 2,000 meter course will bode very well for the sport.